What's up? If you're watching this, then it is the 29th of December 2025, which means my world is now a whole year old. Which on the one hand is great. On the other hand, I don't know how I feel about that one. I have been meaning to give an update about this world for a while, but I keep putting it off. It's like, oh, I haven't got to share. But now I actually do have things to share. So let's get right into it. I'm currently standing at spawn. I spawned, I think, around here when I started this world back in beta 1.7. And we'll get out soon, trust me. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this, which is the white gold tower. And it goes pretty far up. The current lowest point is Y-63, and this obviously extends all the way to Y319, which is the world height. I've kind of carved this into the mountain to cut corners, but soon enough, once it's finished, I will actually carve away more so that it is... so that it actually is completely exposed. Right now it's not. The highest point at the moment is this floor, which is the observation level. So you get a full 360-degree view of everything. And I mean everything. That there is Holiday Hill, that has Easter, the Year of the Snake, Halloween, and I kind of wanted to have more stuff. It'll start with this 2025 sign here, which, fun fact, when I made that, the sun rose in the north, and it set in the south. And I thought they were flipped, so this would have been north, that was east, that was south, now it's west. No, I was just wrong. I was just an idiot, and I built it wrong. But also, Minecraft just kind of... How rude. Minecraft just kind of did that. I don't know why. And if I actually leave this area, let's go down to here. This is the valley that you spawn, or you see when you leave spawn. But I flooded it back in 1.2, and I still haven't really done anything, admittedly. You thought. I was thinking of building, like, this is going to be the main city, originally, but those plans since changed. I do think I'm onto something with the weird, uncomfortable verticality, though, and I would like to revisit this at some point in the future, possibly soon, because I think it deserves completion. See, there are a couple of fortresses dotting the higher levels. There are bridges further out. There's a window here so you can see better. The bridges kind of don't really go anywhere. You can see the tower from here though. It's kind of weird to think this was going to be the main area before I transition to the massive valley outside. Yeah, these don't go anywhere, which is kind of disappointing. However, this leads into my base. This was supposed to be like a war room. I think that was my idea back at the time. But it's since kind of just fell into disuse, and I think I should do something with it. You can hear the happy gasp that I got recently through trading with a piglin. But Rob, he does not have a name. This is how my base looks now. I believe when I last did the video, Ramiel was there, these fireflies were there. All these rooms are about the same. These mangrove trees weren't there, I remember that much. And here you can see I've also kind of done some further decoration. There's a pillager banner over there, and there is a cake to celebrate my birthday, which is on the 7th of June. This has since been made mossy to imply that it's super, super old, which it kind of is. in here's a couple of golems from when I upgraded to 1.10, 1.21.10. Now 1.21.11, which is why there's a spear in my inventory. He doesn't have a name either. He just kind of hangs out here in my bedroom, overlooking my nice little lake. I just feel like that wizard tower that you probably just got a glimpse of next to Ray. So, down here is my world map. So this has the city in the center. There is everything here is connected by minecart rail. This will probably be connected with even more rails in the near future as I keep expanding it. That is the plan. So I fly up very quickly. I've got an idea, actually. Hold on. If I... Get rid of that. There we go. And now, I can do a better guided tour. That's a 420 leaf. Don't question it. And if you look down from my current vantage point, you can see all of the farms. That's supposed to be a chemical district I haven't really used. This was the original city center. That's where all most of my stone comes from. And this is honestly all supposed to be inhabited, but it's just kind of not. That's kind of disappointing. This here's the industrial district that I don't really use outside of the cactus farm. And these are my actual farms. This here burned down, and I will give a couple of before and after screenshots here, so I remember to add them. No, I will try to link them in the description. There is more farms over here, and if I'm going to be honest, I kind of just might get rid of this massive block of dirt and sandal. I know I probably shouldn't for like visual aesthetic or whatever, but it's in the way, and I need more farms built. So like, I don't know if I care that much. This is the primary agricultural area. There is potatoes, or the secondary, I should say. The primary one's over there. I have wheat, potatoes, carrots, beetroot, melons, pumpkin. I will probably add glowberries soon because I think that would be nice. This was meant to be a guard tower, but now it's just kind of serving as an unfinished monument to my hubris. You got a pig pen over here. This is a district I built recently, and I built it because I don't use brick or like stripped logs or copper. I use copper for roofs quite a bit, but I don't use bricks or stripped logs often, if at all. And I decided that would be nice to do something different. This over here was built, these towers, these flat blocks, and these buildings below me, built in anticipation of 1.14, but I never populated this area with villages, which is not ideal. And if we go further down, I'm going to go into third person to make sure I'm in the right spots. Yeah, these are supposed to be like working areas. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go down. Yeah, this is supposed to be like a working residential area, but it hasn't really been worked on in a while. There was supposed to be more housing over here, but that was soon replaced by those warped and crimson farming areas. Now, if I keep flying and I go over here, you will see an unfinished market district, which is based on the real-life Camden Market in London. I will put a picture or two here so you get an idea of what I was going for. And if I'm going to be honest, I think I should come back to this and finish it at some point. This here is an unfinished segment of the city wall, but there's enough torches that kind of mitigate the amount of mobs that spawn. But I feel like I could definitely do a bit more. And this here is Verticalatown. This is one of the more recent builds. And it's also one of the ones that actually has lore. The idea I had here is that this is an autonomous sub-district of what I've decided to call Spawn City, which is this entire thing here. And the idea is that it's kind of like very literally, it's like the way, sorry, words. The reason it's built like this is it's kind of like metaphorical for, oh yeah, 1% live on the top. Clever. And if I dismount very quickly, you to this, so you don't fly away, I will show you something else. Right, let's go down here. So the complement of Verticalitown is this. Underworld. An underworld is purposely designed to be a place that kinda sucks to live in, and it has its own district as well. Like, this is the mayor's office. Generally, not looking great, all things considered. And the idea is that this is where Verticalitown gets all their gravel and their stone and sometimes other resources, like coal. Which is... And the people living down here in Underworld don't ever get to see any of the fruits of their labor. They produce for the people of Verticalitown and barely get anything in return. The most they get is permission to make farms like that melon one, and I keep finding blocks down here that are probably being placed by Enderman. This is just a small pub. I should probably build more of these on the surface, because it's kind of barren up there. This is a community center, which is partially inspired by the one where I live in real life, except that one's not underground. That one is very much above ground and only has a single floor. You know, it has 2 floors, just in certain places. And there's another melon farm here, which is purposeful, on account of Verticalitown's, like, police force making it just really dull and boring and miserable to live here, like the United Kingdom. And it's just not great in general. They don't have windows, they have iron bars, because they can't afford the sand to make the glass. So they just have to live like this. And an idea I had is that wood is very finite, so it's only really used for doors, and sometimes other things. But there is like an actual wood smuggling market that I would like. If I come back to this, I will add a wood smuggling market, because that would be kind of crazy. There's the catacombs, which I haven't built yet, but I should, because there's gonna be more lore. I'm gonna take a moment to sit back and kind of explain. I've kind of been half explaining it, but I'll sit down and explain it quickly. So Verticalitown and Underworld have a feud going on, because Verticalitown is basically exploiting them for everything they're worth to make the city above look as nice as possible. And they're shipping all the stone that gets mined here to the rest of the city so it can be used in construction projects. This is not going well. At least not right now, because there is serious unrest from the years of surveillance and exploitation that Underworld has been forced to endure. And it is coming to a head. It's kind of inspired by GM Windswept and the story that's being told there, if you know about that map. I'll link a video about it by Logan from Earth in the description, because I think it's a really cool map. And the Obsidian Mining Collective, which I think is what I called them, function as a corporate police force down here. And an example of that would be here. Sorry, the Obsidian Corporation. This was a wheat farm that was stormed and made useless by the Obsidian Corporation to keep Underworld under their thumb. And another example of this is the only piece of greenery down here. No, there's no greenery anywhere else. There is a library that is kept stocked by the community. Most of the books are donated or like would have been thrown away otherwise by the surface. There's also a school, as I think you saw, but it's up there. There's catacombs. So it's a tight-knit community. It's kind of been put together through adversity and combined opposition to the surface, especially obsidian. And here, this here is the Hollow, which is a prison that extends pretty far down, and I stopped having to dig it out because of the deep slate down there. If I fly down very quickly, this is where it's going to be implied that all the stone is being sourced from now that they've more or less hollowed out everything else. And it's just going to keep going. So we keep going down, it's going to be... These two layers are for mining. The lower layers are for imprisonment, and then it's going to be like negative 54 is going to be more mining. And there are escape tunnels that lead to an unmarked location, but the idea is those are considered rumors. Like, oh, we know everything about what's going on in Underworld. There's no possible way they can escape. Spoilers. They're escaping. And I think this might push me to actually try to make more lore for the way the city is constructed, and the further implications of just a lot, really, I think. I think I'm onto something with this, and if you think so too, please let me know. Hello again. This is... This is after a bit of a jump cut, so... This is Horizon's Edge, which was going to be a smaller Mediterranean-style district because it's on the edge of a desert. But that ultimately didn't come to pass, and I built all these skyscrapers instead. I built them for concrete, which is why they're using wool. And it took forever to make this. Like, oh my god, it took so long. But I think it looks kind of cool, honestly. Especially when you have the ever-expanding white gold tower next to it. I think I should honestly build a few more skyscrapers, because I do have a bit of space. But I'm not quite sure if they're also going to be Pride Flag themed. I'll have to think about it. And down here is the old sea town. This used to be an ocean biome, but it has since changed to river, desert, and a few other different biomes, I think, which is a bit strange. These were all built using snow and spruce logs. And they were one of the... I keep finding rogue, like... Hold on. I keep finding these rogue grass and sand blocks everywhere, and it's kind of weird. Maybe I should do a bit more investigation into them. Yeah, as I was saying, I've been meaning to expand this, but I've decided against it, and it's just going to serve as this, like, historic little district, like how English Heritage or UNESCO is like, don't mess with building unless you want to add like some extra modern amenities for safety purposes or whatever. You know, that kind of vibe. I just remember building this and being terrified that something would burn it down, so that's why I used snow instead of wool, because snow used to be quite abundant, but it doesn't like snow in any of the areas around this world anymore. This is right next to us. I can take you to New Umkasa, which is named for Umkasa, which is a town I built on one of my friend's creative Minecraft servers. And in turn, that is named for the real-world Iraqi town of Umkasa. As you can see, I have chosen to go for a lot of more North African and Mesopotamian style buildings, like these are meant to be wooden pillars that are driven in to keep everything upright. I just realized there's no slabs on that one. There's supposed to be slabs on that. It's so over. I'm a fake and a fraud. And other than that, one of the main things I wanted to do was use canals, as seen here. They are all 3 blocks wide, to make sure that boats, rafts, and all that can go through them. And I was going to make it even larger, but I decided against it because I just really wanted it to be finished. but one day I will absolutely expand it because this is one of my favorite builds on the entire world. Now, if you allow me to, I will fly on over to our last locations. Over there on the horizon is... oh, what did I name it? Small Town, that's what I named it. Small Town was built from that well and these two small houses. It spawned to make a village that had a single villager in them. I don't quite know what happened to the villager. I think he might have been killed by zombies, which kind of sucks. And if you look in the distance, there is my mob farm that I've never used, and I honestly felt like it was a lot further away back when I first made it in 1.0. Which, in all fairness, it kind of was a lot further away because none of that existed. None of this existed either, honestly. Yeah, down here is a small potato farm. There is a shopping center which uses pale wood as the floor. And I think the rest of these use pale wood as the floor as well because I had a lot of it at the time. And if we follow the railway, this will take us to the last built-up area of the server so far, which is Polderstadt Landgrad. Now, Polderstadt is named that because it's literally just... it's built almost entirely on artificial land, with I think a few exceptions. Yeah, that bit there, where there is a bit of sand and all that, that wasn't initially filled in. Yeah, you can see where the grass is, that's what I filled in, where the sand is what was there before. So, strictly speaking, Polderstadt is this dockyard, this island, that island with the skyscraper on it, and that one. And a bunch of this area here, like where it's all very flat, was also grass. And Landgrad is going to be the area around here, at least that is the current plan. Landgrad is also going to be connected by these canals, which I seem to really enjoy building for some reason. I don't know why. And it's going to be like a combined city. So Polderstadt is going to be like the fancy new district, and even though it's being built first, and Landgrad is the older part of the whole build. So that is going to... sorry. Nope. So that is currently where everything stands. I have been spending a lot of time building these railways. That's kind of what I've been doing. I've been mostly just finishing things before I start anything new. I want to build a zoo somewhere, but I'm still not sure where. It's either going to be down here, or it's going to be over by the market, but I haven't decided yet. And once I've built that, I'm going to be expanding into the desert beyond the wall here, because it's relatively flat, and that would be easier on my brain to think about, instead of having to deal with this weird verticality of all the hills and such. But that is a problem for future me, because present me has to focus on finishing all of the infrastructure first before they can think about that. So really, that's all. I kind of wish I had more to say, but I think I'll have more to say soon, and I would rather take my time and have more to show you than constantly just barrage of updates like, oh, I built like 2 houses over the span of 2 weeks, which was kind of what I was doing beforehand. Alright, now those fans are dead. What I want to do is, I want to finish everything that needs to be done here first, and then I'll focus on building everything I want to do. So the zoo is going to be one of the first things on my list. Expanding the city westward is also on my list. But those will come later once I have everything else I want done. That is more or less non-negotiable. And when I have more of that done, I will make sure to record a video and say, hey, this is what I've built over the past possibly week, and we will go from there. I hope you've had a good Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or whatever it is you observe this time of year, and if you don't observe anything, then I hope you've enjoyed the time off if you got any. If not, this year's kind of sucks, and I hope you had at least something to look forward to around this time of year. But if not, then Happy New Year in a couple of days' time, and I will see you in the next video. See you later.